was pretty big, and we've had a lot of questions come in based on what we talked about last week, and so we built another presentation for this week, show you a few new production parts that are rolling down the line, which is a good thing for, and people have obviously asked about it. Here we go. Merchandise is up. I know that people say, I want a car before I want merchandise. Well, I want merchandise. We've had a lot of requests for merchandise. So, speed that are embroidered, hats, speed gloves, and T-shirts are in stock. There'll be more merchandise items coming as we get our helmets done, and a bunch of other cool gear that we'll need when the cars are here. So, merchandise, speed gear, and what is it? SpeedUTVgear.com.
And there's a link on the.
And it's a link on the homepage. So at the top of the homepage, it says UTV gear.
It just says apparel.
Apparel.
There's another link above the presentation.
Right. So it says apparel above the presentation, and gear is there and in stock. Toolbox is back in stock. Excited to have these out. We launched them around Christmas time. We had no idea they were going to sell so fast and be gone, and really haven't had a lot of returns on it. So really excited about the quality of the tools, and I know that our customers are as well. And basically with this kit, you can prep a trophy truck, you can prep a UTV, you can pretty much do everything with it, and it bundles up and you can take it with you. It is a weight that we can carry on the airplane. Kyle's actually bringing a few of them to Mid-Ohio this week, so we'll have tools back in stock. Turbos and housings. Here is the new turbos with the exhaust housing attached, heading to manufacturing. This is obviously a different manufacturer than what we use to build the cars. This is a turbo manufacturer, and we have a very good relationship with Ken from Push Turbo, and he's been working on this process. And obviously we've had test and prototype parts, but finally real life production parts here with fully casted manifolds. So and these are heading here, so we're excited about that. We've changed a bunch of things, like even this little guy here. When we were plumbing the car, can you move mine over this screen?
Hey Rob, get your mic on. The other one, is it on?
I think it's on. Is it not on?
Okay, yeah.
It shows it's on.
Okay.
All right. So as we see here, we did some fabricated bends on the shell there. That's the compressed side, and the double S turns obviously restricted the flow just a little bit, but as well as restricting the flow, it allowed it to get too close to the exhaust. So by moving that flange in the intake side of the charge tube, and anytime you can reduce heat, that's an improvement. And by doing this was a recast piece. So the ones you saw us with our cars testing, they were fabricated and modified and ported basically to match this. But here is the twisted end. So like I said, we work with Push Turbo on this, and we're very excited with our turbo supplier and the performance of the turbos. A little bit closer up front. I think we'll stay over here, and Daniel, flick this page. Can we zoom that in a little bit? And or I can zoom in mine on this side. Let's go back over to my side, and it allows me to do it a little bit easier. But there we go. Pretty much a full size of how this works out. And this was obviously the original one. And as I showed you on this page here, you can see these are the twisted ones. So there's a twist coming off right here. And this allows us to get that charge pipe farther away from this header. As you see it here, it'd be pointing towards it. Have to turn and get very close right there by coming off at let's call it a 20-degree angle, something like that. That kept a nice consistent distance away. And I've got some other cool features that come along with this that you guys have not seen either. So there it is there. Pretty simple to see it in this way with the non-twisted one. You can see it's pointing here. By the time we make the corner, we're going to get fairly close right here. But not only is there that, on top of this charge pipe, there it is, the full stamped heat shielding cover. Daniel's got it over here on this side. I've got it over on my side. But this is a pretty cool, neat feature that we've incorporated into the exhaust. If you think about exhaust pipe is 1,400 degrees, 1,700 degrees? At least. And we've used the fanned air coming out of the CVT that comes in and cools the header blanket here. So you can see how it comes over. Is it on my next page, Daniel? You can see how we use the X of the CVT to charge and cool the blanket that goes over the top of the header itself. So obviously trying to cool this thing the best we can. Anytime the engine is running, the CVT fans spin. Even the secondary fan, they sit there and they just spin. So this will help us cool this and keep this thing flowing. When you put the car into neutral, both CVTs sit in idle, which allows us to flow air through the exhaust. And when you see temperatures like we see with a turbocharged boosted engine, it's got a lot of exhaust in. And as you can see here now, with this angle, and this is stuff we learn throughout the process, and this is something that was part of our change process. Once we saw it, it's like, well, we can improve this and we can improve that. And this is the part where people challenge us. They said, just deliver the car. Well, I can't deliver a car with an exhaust pipe that's going to run too hot and you're going to lose performance. These are things that, as a new manufacturer, we've learned this process. It's been a big challenge for us, but at the same time, we're still less than 2 years from concept to engines, to turbos, to tires, to wheels, to shocks, to gearboxes, chassis, bodywork. So many tools have been changed and modified numerous times to give you guys the best car that we know how to do. So every week you see that we get closer. This is another step closer of something that we needed to do. There is the header blankets. These are something similar than we used back in the day with the IndyCar. I use these on the Unicorn, and it's stamped, waffled, heat shielding, and it's got a couple tie pieces, and this thing obviously splits and comes apart. It's got some bosses built onto the headers, and these are some pretty trick parts. So Jeff, nice job on these. This has been a big question this week. What wheels are we going to be able to use as an aftermarket wheel? And one thing I wanted to try to explain, and I think we did this early on, we've tried to make it where it fits most wheels, but there's an important aspect here that a lot of people may have missed. These wheels and tires and wheels and hubs, they marry together. So the studs actually hold the wheel onto the register. I'm going to walk up to my Instaphone, and then I'll walk up to the other camera. But I don't know if you guys can see that little about 300 thou lip, right there. That helps us. And I'll use this wheel here. And if you want to bring the cameras down to take a look at it. But here's the back side of the wheel, and here is this register. And if you look at it, the wheel has the same register. So that will actually sit on there without the lugs actually holding it on. And I can come up a little bit higher, but most importantly, when I load it in, I can pretty much push my weight on it without studs on it. So we're riding on this register inside the wheel, and this allows us to actually run, is that a 12 millimeter, right? 12 millimeter wheel stud, because the wheel stud is actually just holding the wheel into the register. Dropping stuff all over the place tonight. But this is an aspect that's been here from the beginning, and obviously when you get your car you might want to test fit some aftermarket wheels, but you want to make sure they also register onto this platform. I know that there's a wide variety of wheel centers, but this right here helps you if you're going to do big compression G-outs. It loads the wheel onto the hub, and you're not actually putting the load on the wheel stud. Now, we also did extend the wheel studs to stick outside of the shear point, so the shear point is hidden in the wheel. And I know these people are, you know, we've tried to explain this a lot, the double shear, but this is just a shear point. And same thing with our bolts. But not only the bolts, we actually register the hub into the wheel itself. So pretty neat feature, something that we've been doing for a long time on the trophy truck. You know, a lot of guys just use the hubcap to register and help load the tire onto the car. We actually use it as a shear point as well. So the studs are just holding the wheel into the shear point. So zoom into that just a little bit more, show that one more time. You can see this nice little detail here. And if you look at the back side of the wheel, I think that's what Daniel's showing over here, but that's actually the front side. But there's a register there that locks that in.
There's a question about the hubs.
Hubs.
It says, are the rotors still going to be indexed into the hubs?
Yes, they are. So as you look at the hub here, very similar to what you've seen on the front side. On the back side, it's got a register right there. Looks like about 125 thou of register that holds the rotor into it, and it also has some bolts holding the rotor onto it as well. So the rotors are made to basically stop this car, and even at high G-outs, high load, a lot of grip, they do register into the hubs as well. So not only do the wheels register on the outside, the rotors actually register on the inside as well.
And what size are the lug nuts?
The lug nuts, this is something that I think a lot of people will like, is the lug nuts are a 19 millimeter, which equals a 3/4. And when we did that, all the suspension bolts are actually the same size as lug nuts. So if you got an impact gun, you can pretty much go around your whole car, A-arms, spindles, sway bars, shocks, suspension pivots, 19 millimeter, 3/4, very common size. If you don't have a metric toolbox around, obviously you can grab a 3/4 and get the job done. So we did take this into consideration. This was a lot of trouble to get a 12 millimeter bolt with a 3/4 inch head on it because it doesn't make sense to most people. But when you're doing what we do and we're out in the rough and out in the desert or the deserts of Baja or Africa or South America or wherever you ride, you can find a 3/4 inch or a 19 pretty easy. But if you just have an impact gun with your car and that's a 3/4 and you got 1 wrench, you can pretty much tighten all the suspension points on the whole car. We do have one bolt or one nut that is that 3/4? Did we get it down to 3/4? I think that one's a little bigger, right? Can you go let me know what size that is, please? We have the one nut on the trailing arm bolts because the 16 millimeter bolt, we couldn't get a 19 millimeter hex on it and be able to get that. So Lucas is going to run over there and let me know what that other bolt is, and that's the only other bolt on suspension that is not the same common hex size, wrench, socket, whatever you may choose to use.
Yeah, they're happy about all that.
Cool. Yeah, no, it makes it easier, especially when you're building a toolkit for a car and you want to go hit the desert. Couple 3/4 inches, couple 19 millimeters, impact gun, maybe this other size here and some Torx, and you can pretty much go out and hit the road because a lot of the vibration goes through the wheels, tires, shocks, and suspension, and that starts to calm the vibration down as it moves itself through the car. But that means those components want to loosen up more than others because they get a frequent vibration that sends off a number that tries to loosen those. Plus, it's things that are rotating up and down, and every single component there is shoulder all the way through. No halfway, maybe this, halfway, maybe that. These things are shoulder bolts all the way through. They work as shear pins. And we've tried to not only do it on the suspension pivot points, 22. So the inside nut on the trailing arm is a 22 millimeter, and the outside hex on the bolt itself, that is a
you said that 16 millimeter bolt on the trailing arms because it's got leverage and it gets a lot of force on it. So we upsized that bolt based on our experiences in the past. Shocks, rear suspension, air filter location. I think this was a question. Where is the air filter located? You know, it was really hard to find a place to mount the air filter the way it was designed. What I mean by the way it was designed is the air filter has vertical fins on the air filter. So if you put the air filter sideways on the car and the dust sits up, it can sit and try to sift through those fins. So it's made for those vertical fins to sit vertical up and down so that the dust sifts down those. So we actually mounted the air filter between the chassis and the rear shock. It's vertical with a drain down here at the bottom, and the air inlet comes in from the top. So right here, and this is it's pretty cool because it shows more fabrication. Obviously, I'm going to have to talk to my guys about this splatter, but the welds are pretty proper for a production car. So I'm pretty happy with what I see there. I am going to definitely have to talk to him about a little bit of splatter there. There you go. That's actually not one of them. The other ones are the vertical fins. So does it have verticals inside? Okay, perfect. Couldn't really see it from where I was because it has this metal screen on the outside. But if you look inside here, these fins go this way. So if you were to put the air filter this way, there's no way for that dust to come off of it. It just sifts itself down the fins. By putting the air filter in where the dust has to travel up, you load it up from the bottom, has vertical fins. You can kind of pound on your air filter housing itself, and it'll shake this thing and knock the dust off it and hit the little drain there, and it'll help out a little bit. So,
You done the tractor example?
huh?
Tractor?
Tractor example, all tractors are vertical, and that's basically, these are dirt machines, and I figured we better do this right, and we had one shot, and obviously dirt does wear out pistons, rings, other things inside the engine, so we want to keep that clean, and air filter had a lot to do with this, and it was very hard to design a housing that would allow us to do this and get the entrance and exit, because you always want to come out through the inside, vertical up. You don't want to do vertical down because you're sitting here and there's dust here. It'll sift its way through, potentially come in there. This way it has to vacuum it up through the filter. So it's really a good way of doing it, and that's what we've got here on the Speed UTV. And then on the other side, Daniel's got this is air filter location, but on the other side, this is our production proper round sump tank, our old dry sump tank. So these are dry sumped engines, and this one I know I've showed you this before, but there is a filter on this as well, because if you drop a few dirt particles in there, the last thing I want to do is get it into your oil pump right away. So you've got two oil filters on the car. You got one at the sump, and which is a little bit more coarse to catch dirt and rocks and pieces like that, and then obviously you got your proper filter filtering the engine itself, and that's a finer screen filter. I don't know why that's in the air filter, but I wanted to get more into the double shear and kind of show production spindles. Think about this, guys, for your UTV. This is not a $1,500 accessory increase. This is the way your Speed UTV comes. It comes with shoulder bolts, comes with 70-75 tie rods, comes with booted and booted right there rod ends.
Zoom right in on the boot.
Yeah, I'll zoom in on the boot. There's a boot there on the tie rod, but that's a complete boot that captures the misalignment or the rod end and captures the misalignments and rides on the misalignments, and it's sealed. It's these are things that you can't buy for your everyday off-road. Very seldom do you see that in any Dakar truck, trophy truck, score vehicle. Those are all sitting there exposed because we change them every race. Here we're trying to get thousands of miles out of our vehicle for you guys as a production vehicle. Same thing here. It's got a booted misalignment there that allows us to keep that from corrosion and sand and really wearing out and working hard to keep the long-term reliability there on this vehicle. Off-road cars are for sure the most violent on parts there are, just because of all that stuff. All right. We are back this weekend at Mid-Ohio. So SST is back at Mid-Ohio. We got a big announcement with SST next week. But we are there with IndyCar this week. And I was just told by my guys, I believe that most of the camping spots on the infield I heard was sold out. So I expect a big weekend, 4th of July weekend at Mid-Ohio. And we're excited to head down there with our SST trucks. Trucks are loaded on the trailer. Guys are out of the shop. And getting ready to go do battle again. We did that about a month ago, and then we got another announcement on Wednesday or Thursday next week of a big event that we're very excited to have SST part of. Time for a little bit of talk, so go ahead and give us a call here, 704-949-1255. Phones have been transferred over so that I can grab these calls and hopefully answer some of your questions from tonight's show. Again, thank you for tuning in. This was a fairly short show just because we had so many things we showed last week, and we're just down to the fit and finish of this vehicle, so thank you. All right, if you can take that one over there, that'd be great. Hey, you're on with Robby Gordon tonight. How you doing?
All right, T-shirt time.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. You got a master number for us?
Yes. And I think it's 1862.
1862. You got a T-shirt coming your way. What size?
Extra large.
XL. Cool. Did you obviously watch our show tonight? That was not a smart question. Any questions from tonight's show, or first time, right? It's the first time. First name. Sorry, first name.
Timothy.
Tim, how are you? All right, 1862, good. Tim, you got him. All right, cool, we've got you, and we just want to make sure that we can identify your master because we have made a few mistakes before sending stuff out, and we got you, so thanks.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure that's the number. I have to look it up because I had an earlier number that I ended up selling, and then later on bought this one, so I'm pretty sure it's 1862. I can look it up.
All right,
if
please.
It's wrong.
All right, 1862. Can we get a computer in here? Maybe double check that, or 1862, Timothy? All right, cool. Thank you. All right, we'll get that checked as we're going to answer some questions. So, what's your hot one tonight?
It's a basic question on the jacks that were offered. I originally saw there was 3 jacks. Now I only see 2 on the website. Is that correct?
I honestly haven't been on the website lately. That's something that Todd plays with the jack side of things. But which one did you order?
Okay, so I originally ordered the CO2 one.
Yes.
And my question is, out of those 3 jacks, which one has the higher lift?
The highest lift, I would say, would be the AGM jack. Would be the highest, most travel lifting jack that we have. It also has probably the most control. And what I mean by control is it's, I believe it's screw activated. So by doing that, it's very precise to get the height that you want.
Is that the power one?
That's the electric.
You use the drill?
You could do an impact gun on it. And they also have one with a battery that plugs right onto it and has a built-in motor for you.
Okay. Okay, that's good information. I think I'm probably going to change my order, so I'll contact Ginger or whoever I need to contact to make a change on that. But that was my question. But looking forward to getting the car, though. Excited.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's so many small little details when it comes down to manufacturing a car, and we're not really that far into it. I mean, people are going to say, oh, well, we took orders 2 years ago at Sand Sports, and we're not even to Sand Sports, and you're seeing, production engines, production turbos, tires, shocks, gearboxes, everything, and fully bodied cars. So I feel good with where we're at, and there's a few details we're working on to make these things perfect.
Sweet. All right, that looks good. I'm just taking a quick look to see if I can see my originally my new master.
Yeah, we checked your master, and it does come up under Timothy, and so we know 1862 is you.
Perfect. Sounds great. Have a great evening, and looking forward to next week's show.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good 4th of July weekend yourself. Stay safe.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. You too.
Thanks. Bye. All right, caller number 1 down. We're going to do 3 callers tonight? Let's go 3. Winner on number 3. What are we giving tonight? Oh, number 2 missed out. Maybe they'll be number 3 when they call back. Hey, Robby Gordon here. How you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing there, Robby?
Doing good. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
Well, cool. You obviously tuned in to tonight's show, and can I get your master number if you have one?
Yeah, it's Master
1632. First name?
Curtis.
Curtis? Yep.
Yep.
All right. All right. And what size shirt do you wear?
XL.
XL. Perfect. Cool. Any questions about your car, about the show, about parts and pieces that you see us making some small modifications on? Anything you want us to talk about?
Yeah, I just got a couple of questions here. Did I happen to see tonight on one of the slides that you have quick release clamps on the CBT cover?
Yes. So toolless CBT cover.
Love it. Awesome.
Yep, and it is structured as well. So the CBT cover has a very deep tongue and groove that basically locks itself in place. Well, not only seals it up, but because we're using the CBT pilots to control the torsion between the primary and secondary clutches, that basically put those clutches in double shear as well. These quick release clamps are holding it into its register.
All right, great design. I like seeing that.
Thank you very much. So that's one thing, and then we've got a real simple tool to pry the secondary back to be able to switch belts very, very easy.
Is that tool coming with the toolkit, or is that an option?
No, that'll be an option tool. It's a pretty good size tool. You could obviously fit it into your bag. You could also roll the belt on like I do with Max at races. I'll roll the thing over and then get it to where it's loaded. And, obviously I take my foot and push up against it, and he hits the fire button and it flicks it on. So, we've done it multiple different ways, but obviously the correct way to do it is with the release tool.
We'll make a video both ways.
Yep, we'll make a video. We'll show this, show the tool. We'll show everything. But it's a fairly sophisticated pry bar style knuckle.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing you guys demo something like that a few months back.
Yep, I think we used it in one of our tests, and I think we did some live feed when we were switching belts and stuff, just to show how easy it was. We can grab that for next week.
Another question that I have is on all of your nuts, on all your suspension components. You mentioned last week that you're going to have to use Loctite or some thread retaining compound for all of the suspension hardware. Any chance that at some point you're going to be looking at developing a nylock for those on a huge nylock fan?
Yeah, I mean, the nylock's really good, but that's a one-time use. Once you use the nylock and it crimps, it's done. And I believe that people will want to, inspect stuff, take stuff apart, work on it. But it, this is a registered nut, so we've already counterbored the backside of the nut about 200 thou to absorb the shoulder, to put the hidden shoulder in there. And we're big fans of Loctite here. If we don't Loctite our off-road stuff, things come loose. So we're not afraid of a little bit of blue and a little bit of red.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because the company I work for owns Loctite, so I appreciate that.
Wonderful product. Honestly, a really, really, really quality product. And, SST trucks, trophy trucks. They used to support us a little bit. We don't get any help right now from them, but I'll tell you that is a wonderful product, and it's an awesome product too. We use it hourly. It's not daily, it's hourly around here.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Last question I have is, in the next few months, when the 10 test cars will come out, is there any chance that you're going to be sending them to different locations? I know I'm calling from the Salt Lake City area. I know Todd Romano's just up the hill from us.
Yep.
Any chance you would send a couple of cars up our way to play in Moab?
Yes. Yeah, we can.
We can come down and actually see the cars before we, get them delivered.
Yes, and we are going to include our customers, only current customers, to come to some of these things and obviously observe what we're doing. And we've shared everything with you guys, so I'm not afraid to have you guys there when we test these let's call it production test cars. And I look forward to having everybody out there. We'll do Arizona, California, and obviously Utah has big sales for us. So I don't know where Todd will choose the Utah area, but I know Todd has mentioned doing that, and I'm full support of doing that as well.
Oh, that's great news. Well, that wraps it up for my questions. Thank you, Robby. Keep up the good work. We're excited to get these cars when they're ready.
Thank you very much. Do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bye. All right. Crescent box, right? Crescent box. All right.
Wait, what crescent?
Oh, that guy just missed it.
Crescent box.
Oh,
Not on the toolbox.
That one missed it too.
crescent box. Crescent box. Winner, chicken dinner.
Hey, Robby, this is Mike, master number 982.
Mike
Size
982.
extra large.
You have a size extra large. I like that. 982. You also have a crescent box.
Awesome.
If you don't have one, then that'll get added to your order. If you have one, you have the value of a crescent box to trade it for something else.
Awesome.
982 Mike.
That's correct.
Perfect. And hang on one second. I see your last name. All right, I got that. Perfect.
Okay.
Extra large. Extra large is the name today on T-shirts. What's your hot question for Robby Gordon?
Well, the first question I was going to ask, it might sound silly, but I sold my Double X and I have an extra set of wheels, and it seemed like you guys were testing in the beginning with Double X wheels, stock ones.
Yep, you will be the production wheels. The inside lip of the wheel, I believe, is similar. It is. I know it is. So that will work. A lot of Polaris wheels will work because it's 4-on-156, but it depends on what the whole diameter is. I know that the production KMC wheel that we designed for the Double X has the proper register, even though the Double X hub did not get the shoulder added to it.
Perfect.
So I know
Okay.
that when we did the KMC wheel and designed that wheel, we designed it for this register, and I know that all of our other stuff fit that, and that was something that we kept. But the production Double X did not get the register put on the hub, so it didn't matter if you had a register or didn't have a register. That one got lost in translation.
Okay. But my wheels will fit fine.
Yep,
That's
your
what you're
wheels
saying.
will fit fine, no problem.
Okay, great. All right. Well, everything that you're doing is great and worth the wait. And keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for choosing Speed as a vehicle. And we're, like I said, every week we show you everything we learn, and as you see by the last 3 shows, we've been showing you production car stuff. This isn't showing you our test cars anymore. These are production builds here.
Yep. We're excited. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July week, and we will be back next week for show 65. Happy Independence Day, America. Have a good one. You answer next.